There are some enemies and bosses in video games that are challenging, but with some solid planning, they can be taken out efficiently. Then there's those foes who take things to another level. They're so infuriatingly difficult to defeat, you're better off putting the controller down and playing a different game. Before we begin, subscribe to The Gamer to stay up to date with all our content, and ring that bell to become part of our notification squad so you never miss a video. Without further ado, here are the 10 hardest things to kill in video games. Lynels, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Just one look at these baddies and you know it won't be an easy fight. While the first Lynel appeared in the original Legend of Zelda for the NES, their Breath of the Wild incarnation just takes things to another level. When you see these beasts during your travels, you're usually trying to find a way around them instead of going through them. Besides being incredibly difficult, they also give you travel problems. Not cool, Lynel, not cool. The first thing that stands out when fighting a Lynel is their speed. They are crazy fast, which makes them almost impossible to outrun, and they have so much health that you'll probably destroy a couple of your weapons in one fight. Using a fully charged Master Sword is a good idea, but even on a full charge, it might not last the entire fight. Oh, and how could we forget about the giant clubs and longbows they wield that could deal a tremendous amount of damage to you if you're not timing your rolls properly. If you do find a way to defeat one, they drop great loot that you could use to upgrade your gear or sell for a good amount of rupees. What can we say? Being a hunter pays handsomely. Dry Bones, Super Mario. Mario has been on so many journeys throughout the years to save Princess Peach from the clutches of the fire-breathing dragon turtle known as Bowser. But there's one enemy that gives Mario fits to truly defeat, and it's unlike anything else in the series. Dry Bones are easily the most resilient enemies Mario encounters, and as close as you can get to invincible. Mario's jump is not very effective against these skeletal Koopas, as a few seconds after he jumps on them, they get right back up and start walking around again. It's freaky. You could do this for days and days and they would still keep getting up after being knocked down. Talk about motivational. These Dry Bones take the page out of John Cena's book and never give up. Of course, you could use a fire flower and other power-ups to destroy Dry Bones for goods, but if you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time without any power-ups, they're literally immortal. Next time you see Dry Bones, make sure you have some kind of power-up at the ready so these undead Koopas can meet their maker. Deathclaws, Fallout. Where do we even start with these bad boys? Just like how Lynels in Breath of the Wild change your travel plans, so do Deathclaws. They are one of the deadliest enemies in Fallout's post-apocalyptic world, and you better believe they live up to their name. Just look at these monsters! Those long arms and deadly sharp claws give these beasts a very long reach that may catch you by surprise if you're not careful. Deathclaws are also crazy quick and aggressive, so if one spotted you, it's gonna give you chase and you'll have to fight back. There are no other options, except death. Now, if they didn't have a lot of health, but were very strong, that's a fair trade-off, but these guys are absolute bullet sponges. You'll probably watch these Deathclaws rip your character apart limb from limb, starting with his head. Well, these monsters are known for their gruesome decapitation kills, but you'll probably be fed up with the scene after seeing it for the 10th time. Even the low-level variants are quite powerful and can be encountered early in the game, so it's best to scout out the area before running through it. You better find yourself one hell of a suit of power armor if you plan on becoming Deathclaw's hunter. It's definitely not a job for the faint of heart. Crimson Heads, Resident Evil. Oh yeah, you know things are gonna get creepy when we get into Resident Evil, and this is probably not the last time we'll mention this game in this video. The series has changed the way we look at zombie games, and Capcom's remake of the first entry in the franchise gives us a glimpse at the dreaded Crimson Heads. These walking corpses are incredibly scary. From their bloody bodies to their off-putting sounds to their disgustingly long claw-like fingernails, you will want to get the hell out of there the second you lay eyes on one of them. It won't be love at first sight, that's for sure. Like most enemies on this list, they're very quick. They're strong enough to kill you in 2 hits, and no matter what weapons are in your arsenal, they're bullet sponges soaking up so much damage, you'll think they're invincible. Now that's already bad enough, but if you combine it with the narrow hallways full of locked doors and the limited ammo you find throughout the game, this becomes an even more annoying battle. To be honest, Capcom did an amazing job designing this enemy that fits right into the Resident Evil world and gives players fits in the meantime. So if you've been wondering what all the kerosene you've been carrying around is supposed to be used for, it's for those pesky Crimson Heads. Malboros, Final Fantasy. Malboros don't look like they're too difficult to deal with until you're actually face to face with one. But even before you load up your file and get into the game, you dread your first encounter with these disgusting looking creatures, and you'll find out why soon enough. For starters, these beasts are no lookers. They look like the love child of a Venus flytrap and that bush that grew a bunch of eyes and somehow developed razor sharp teeth. Malboros are definitely interesting looking to say the least, but the fact that they're hideous makes you want to defeat them even more. Oh, but wait, there's more. Even if your party is crazy overpowered, it doesn't matter. Each fight will start off with the Malboro using its patented Bad Breath move, which can give you a random status ailment determined by RNGesus. Literally any status ailment under the sun is a possibility with this annoying move, which just makes you wonder just how bad their breath actually is. They don't have a ton of health, and they don't really do much else, but this bad breath move can slowly destroy your party, especially if you encounter multiple Malboros in a short period of time. Now, these enemies don't necessarily roam in packs, but there are certain games with areas chock full of Malboros, so if you find yourself in one of these areas, save early and often. You will not regret it. And if you don't, you will certainly regret it. Take our advice. Wobbuffet Pokemon. Over the years, we've seen some super cool Pokemon who failed to deliver on all the flash, but we've also seen some unassuming and almost downright ugly Pokemon catch us by surprise. Wobbuffet fits the latter description as this high HP tank looks like a blue thumb and can take a licking and won't stop ticking. The funny thing is, Wobbuffet's high HP isn't the most annoying thing about him. Sure, it's a nuisance, but its signature move Counter is what makes it such a frustrating opponent. Since it has high HP, it rarely dies in one hit, and Counter allows the Pokemon to deal twice as much damage as it was dealt. It sounds super overpowered until you almost realize that it could only counter normal and fighting type moves. Wobbuffet is a very slow Pokemon as well, so you will most likely always go first, making Counter such an effective move to use in almost any scenario. Whatever the case may be, it's safe to avoid using your strongest moves against this Pokemon so you don't get countered into submission. Unless you're over-leveled as hell and you know you can one-hit KO Wobbuffet, just keep pecking away at its health until it faints. Big Daddy, Bioshock. How could we not include one of the most famous enemies in gaming, Big Daddy? They've been a fan favorite since the beginning of the Bioshock series for their undying loyalty and awesome design. Seriously, these behemoths look like mutated 1950s scuba divers, but it's hard to admire something that you have to kill to harvest their little sisters. Big Daddies are no joke because it takes so many bullets to send them off to the scrapyard, and that's if they don't charge at you and drill through your stomach. That drill is absolutely huge, and you definitely don't want to get too close because, well, it's a gruesome death sequence that's worth watching at least once. But we're fairly certain you'll see it at least a few times. You'll most likely chew through almost all of your ammo trying to take down these guys, so make sure you're stocked up and well prepared. What's your reward for defeating a Big Daddy? Challenging another one in the next room because they seem to roam in small packs, so if you see one, you'll probably see another one. Or 3. You usually can't just run away from them either, so you better be prepared for a fight or you'll be seeing the Big Daddy upstairs in no time. Now, would you kindly watch the next entry? Thank you. Tank, Left 4 Dead. You just finished a grueling run into town, you're low on medkits and ammo, your friend died like he does every 5 minutes, and you're so close to a safe house you can taste it. Suddenly the ground shakes, the music starts, and you know exactly what's about to happen next. Some Hulk-like zombie known as the Tank shows up and starts wreaking havoc on everything he can get his hands on. Oh crap. Tank always finds a way to appear at the worst possible time. He'll never show up when you're full of ammo and stocked up on medkits. It's always once you have nothing on you and once your teammates are down. This guy relentlessly attacks the party, going after whoever is in his sights. Even if you just run for your life, he'll catch up to you and beat the ever-living crap out of you. Tank has no weak point, and there's not really a special technique to obliterate this beast, so make sure you save your Molotovs, keep shooting, aim for the head, and make sure it doesn't have you in its sights. Sticking close together is a good idea if you want to confuse the AI, but no matter what, somebody is gonna get hurt really badly. Giant Crab, Dark Souls 3. The Dark Souls series is known for its incredibly unforgiving difficulty, capable of making almost anyone rage quit at any time. This franchise is the cause of death of many controllers and TV screens around the globe, so Dark Souls 3 was no exception. There are many iconic, well-designed, and challenging enemies in the game, yet a giant crab is the one that stands out from the pack. It just comes out of nowhere, with the sole purpose of making your gaming experience a living hell. This heavily armored crustacean is not only hell-bent on smashing your skull with its huge claws, but it doesn't have a weak point for you to exploit and deal a ton of damage. The thing is quick, strong, has both close range and long range attacks, and has a ton of HP. To make matters worse, if you try to cheese the giant crab by throwing fireballs at it from afar or something, it just burrows and, when you come back, it regenerates all of its health. Seriously? That's not even fair. In the end, it's really neat to see a giant crab as one of the hardest enemies to kill in the game, when there are so many more intimidating bosses you can encounter. But that's Dark Souls for you. You have to expect the unexpected in these games. Never change, Dark Souls. Never change. Regenerators, Resident Evil 4. Shooting a bullet at these guys feel like you're wasting ammo. All it does is slow them down, but they still find a way to inch closer and closer to you by the second. No matter how many holes you fire into their bodies, they still find a way to remain upright. Regenerators literally render your knife and lower-powered guns useless, so you're forced to waste those precious grenades and shotgun shells that you probably don't have much of anyway. Luckily, there's a trick to defeat the bullet sponges. You just have to equip a thermal scope to your rifle and shoot out the parasites that lie within its chest. But it's not as easy as it sounds. Sometimes regenerators have parasites on their backs as well, meaning you'll need to find a way to get behind them to truly finish them off. If you have the opportunity, it's honestly best to take the easy way out and avoid these baddies at all costs. If you get close and they get a hold of your neck, it'll be game over before you even blink. Oh crap. Well, there you have it. These enemies are no joke. Can you defeat these enemies with ease? Are there any enemies we may have missed? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to TheGamer to keep up to date with all our videos. Thanks for watching.